a sight familiar to all Thai people. His Majesty, the King, on his travels around the country. Regardless of the weather, be it blazing sunshine or pouring rain, His Majesty regularly visits village communities near and far. He studies the topography, the forests, the hills, the villages, the people and their needs. Throughout his reign, His Majesty has shown a deep concern for his people and has devoted himself to their well-being. The majority of Thai people still earn their living from the land, and His Majesty is well aware that improvements to the rural way of life will also have a positive effect on the rest of the kingdom. In a royal address delivered at the ceremony of conferring degrees at Kasetsat University on July 9, 1964, His Majesty said, "The economy of our country has long depended on agriculture. Indeed, the money spent on the development of the country as a whole is mainly derived from the agricultural sector. For further progress to be made in all sectors of our society, it will depend on the progress we make in agriculture." Even all those years ago, His Majesty clearly understood the major role agriculture would play in the country's future, and that water was the key to agricultural prosperity. During his travels, His Majesty observed that there was a distinct lack of water management. There was either too little water, which caused the ground to become dry and barren, or too much, which led to severe flooding. Efficient water management was clearly needed, especially as natural resources were continually being destroyed. His Majesty personally evaluates the problems of an area, and then, together with the appropriate government agencies, initiates a series of pilot projects. These projects are evaluated to confirm their feasibility. Only then are full-scale projects launched. To ensure successful implementation of a project, His Majesty seeks to blend the latest technical knowledge into the local culture. The community, the monks, government officers, and village elders are all encouraged to work together. A good example of the success of such a strategy is the reservoir at Khao Tao in Hua Hin district. This was constructed on His Majesty's initiative in 1963. Currently, some 784 royally initiated projects concerning the development of water resources are being carried out. The main objective behind each is to help villagers become self-supporting. Why so many projects? Simply because there are so many different causes of the water problems, and each has to be tackled differently. For instance, in their nomadic search for fertile soil in which to grow their crops, hill tribe people have gradually been destroying the forests that have for centuries served as watersheds. Realizing the problem, His Majesty launched the royal project to provide these hill tribe people with their own permanent plots of land, thus encouraging them to settle in one place rather than wandering the countryside, destroying woodland. Left alone, the forests can recover, allowing the wet season rains to drain into streams and rivers from where the water can be channeled into reservoirs and stored for later use. To tackle droughts, which are particularly severe in the northeast of the country, His Majesty used his own personal funds to initiate an artificial rain program, utilizing small aircraft